Hi, everyone. Marty Becker, owner and founder of Atlas Financial Strategies, where we specialize in asset-based long-term care insurance, guaranteed retirement income, and asset protection. In this short video, we're going to discuss the importance of having long-term care insurance. My formal background is being trained as a firefighter paramedic. I've been in the fire service for about 20 years now, and I currently hold the rank of captain in St. Louis County Fire Department. But honestly, what does any of that have to do with long-term care insurance and what makes me an expert on the subject? Quite simply, before I was promoted to the rank of captain, I spent many years working on an ambulance as a paramedic. And we responded to all kinds of medical emergencies, but there was one type of emergency that we were called to constantly, and it's nursing homes. There all the time, still to this day. What I start to notice very quickly is, although I work in a nice area of St. Louis, the standard of care and the cleanliness of these facilities were drastically different. And I really couldn't help but wonder why. So why do some people in their most vulnerable years end up in some of these horrific nursing homes? I asked myself, why would their families allow them to be in such a place? Why wouldn't they just go to that facility down the road that is so much cleaner and has a staff that is so much more competent and doesn't have that atrocious stench permeating the hallways? And if any of you have ever been into a nursing home to visit somebody, you know exactly what I mean. Is it because the people in the lousy facilities are poor and the people in the pristine facilities are rich? Maybe to an extent, but what I found out, that wasn't the real reason. I work in what I call a middle class area. So if it wasn't just because of someone's personal financial situation that determined their quality of life and their dignity in their final years, what was it really? Most of the time, it's very specific to long-term care planning. Let me explain that. Most people are under the impression that Medicare will provide them with long-term care. It does not. Some people think that they will be able to fund long-term care with their own money. Maybe for a certain amount of time you will, but considering the average nursing home, single bed room, so a private room, at least in St. Louis, is about $8,600 a month, $9,000 a month. Unless you're fabulously wealthy, you're going to burn through your assets pretty quick. And others think that maybe they can just hide their assets and Medicaid is just going to flip the entire bill. Possibly. Then you spend all your money and you're going to end up in one of those filthy facilities. And Medicaid can and most likely will come after your estate upon your passing because they're going to recoup their money somehow. What I learned over time is that there are two types of long-term care facilities. You have the private pay facilities and the Medicaid facilities. The interesting thing is you don't have to be wealthy to end up in a desirable private pay long-term care situation. And you don't have to be poor to end up in an undesirable long-term care situation. So, do you really need long-term care insurance? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But let me share some pretty startling statistics with you here. There's only a 3% chance that your home's going to burn down, but I bet you have home insurance. There's only an 18% chance that you're going to total your car in an accident, but I bet you have auto insurance. Listen to this. There's up to a 72% chance that you're going to need some type of long-term care assistance in your lifetime, but less than 30% of Americans have any type of long-term care insurance. To be blunt with you, the odds are drastically set against you of not needing it. And if you don't have a plan in place, the government has one in place for you, and I can guarantee you're not going to like it. Here's what I mean by that. The biggest misconception that most people have about long-term care is they think Medicare is going to pay for it. That is a huge mistake. Medicare does not cover long-term care insurance or long-term care. Medicare will cover the first 21 days if you meet very specific criteria. And then from days 21 to 100, you're obligated to kick in $200 per day of your own money. And those are 2023 numbers. So starting on day 101, you are totally on your own, and you will have to spend down all of your assets with some caveats in there if you're married. And then, and only then, will Medicaid kick in to start to cover the cost. And again, with the average cost of a single room in a skilled nursing facility being about $9,000 per month, you're going to burn through your assets pretty quick. And remember, there's only two types of long-term care facilities. Those are the private pay and then the government-run Medicaid facilities. Guess which one you're going to want to end up in, okay? And from my experience of being in and out of these facilities on an ambulance, it's literally the difference between living in a Hilton and Section 8 housing. So an appropriate long-term care policy has two main benefits for you and your family, okay? Number one is financial protection. That's protecting your assets from being completely ravaged by nursing home costs or in-home care, and protecting the remaining spouse from basically being impoverished, and preventing your children from having to pay out of pocket to keep you in a private pay facility. And number two, again, this goes not only to you, but for your family as well, is emotional protection. Retaining your independence and your dignity by staying in your own home, or having your choice of which assisted facility is appropriate for you. Plus, again, for your family, you can remove the burden of care so they never have to endure the mental and physical stress that comes from providing care for a patient. That one's huge. So just a quick recap on what we discussed in this video. You have up to a 72% chance of needing some type of long-term care, whether that's in-home, memory, adult daycare, assisted living, skilled nursing. These type of policies cover all of that. Medicare does not pay for long-term care. Medicaid pays for long-term care once you have basically impoverished yourself. Once you spend all of your money in a private pay facility, you will be forced to transfer to a Medicaid facility. And again, it's the difference literally between staying in a Hilton versus Section 8 housing. Long-term care isn't just for your benefit. It can provide financial and emotional protection for you and your loved ones. So everyone, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I want to highly encourage you to watch the rest of this video series and then book a short phone call at atlasannuity.com so we can design your customized solution for you. Again, this is Marty Becker, wishing you all the best.